Hello. I think I think that I'm live. Honestly, y'all, I'm an abuela at technology. So I'm just gonna trust that I'm live right now. Um, so what where I first off, let me just center that I've been hunting for my lost cat for like 4 days, so I'm super underslept and I'm very honored to be here to support the Hope Orphanage. And I'm so very grateful for the folks that have been putting this together. So I'm here for the next couple moments to just read a little bit of poetry. And I wanted to center girls being loud just as a theme for myself. So I'm not going to introduce too much. I'll start off with some short ones that are short and sweet. So the first one I have been titling Dress for the Job You Want. And it goes like this. Face painted, ready for war, I adorn myself with hoop earrings like armor, fly and rooted to the earth. There is a battle cry in my laughter. Now that I have learned, joy is an act of resistance. That is my first one that I can offer y'all. I'm sure this past year has made us rethink a lot of our lives. And it's been interesting to rebuild my poetry that I've written from the before times with the knowing that I have now, which is after the pandemic, you know? So the next one I'm going to read is called Holy. I whispered to myself a desire to be holy, and I thought maybe the W needs to be returned back to its root, because what I really desire is to be whole, complete in myself. And then I thought maybe that's actually what they meant. But the W got lost in their hoarded scriptures, in the narratives they wrote us out of, in the crusade they waged to wipe out all other ways of being. And then I thought, is it not then a sacred act to take our power back and embrace the totality and validity of our beings, to live wholly? Maybe that is what they meant. Thank you for my play on words that I'm having here right now. Again, this is a fundraiser. And I know, I mean, I'm from an artist community, so I know I come from folks, myself, we don't have a lot, but there's a lot of folks that have less than what we even can conceive of. So even if it's like a cup of coffee, donate a cup of coffee, donate a little bit, because honestly, what I've learned in having my cat lost is actually that it really does take a community of people. That's a vulnerable thing sometimes, but I really think that send in your $2.50, send in your $5, because all of those start adding up, and there are people out there that really need some help in this world. The next thing I'm going to read right here is, let's see, I'm going to read this newer piece that's called An Ode to the Camera Lens. I was commissioned for this piece. It was written in honor of Pablo Neruda, who has a whole series about an ode to everyday objects. And I was commissioned to do this piece, and I chose the camera lens. So this is my ode to the camera lens. Ode to the camera lens. You shapeshifter of time and place. What is it like to be both antiquated and modern? You sit on my bookcase, stare at me when I open my laptop, reach for me from my back pocket. What is it like to defy the possibilities of 10 decades ago, 10 years ago. You allow us to pause and play, to make a moment last a lifetime, crafted in the image of my eye at your center, an iris, a pupil. I am still learning that I too am a collector of light. Like me, life passes through you with a shutter, click, blur. As a child, I used to love viewing the world through this silent spectator. With a small adjustment, I was granted a new perspective. Hard edges become soft. I watch as the lens struggles to find balance, as we struggle to find each other. Zoom in. You invite us to see ourselves, to notice things not seen before. By holding us in all our impossible joys and sorrows, you make memorial of our shared humanity, widen our scopes, allow the world to witness, beg us to not look away, because what is documented cannot be erased. You pull our focus. Drag the brutality of America out of the dark room and into the light. From Bloody Sunday to Black Lives Matter, the hands that cradle you can inspire mass media to mass movement, because when we see ourselves for who we really are, that is when we heal. Zoom out. You curate our lives, from the sunset and the raised fist, to the child who enters the frame who is always shushed away, to the smiles that emerge, to everything we have yet to learn. You ask us to recount, to remember, to hold our history with both of our hands, so we too can develop beauty from our pain, hope from our shadows. And when I lose my way, you remind me that with a small adjustment, I too can gain greater clarity. Shutter, click, blur, one moment. And isn't that exactly what we are? A chance to change our perspective, to focus our light, and defy the possibilities of 10 decades ago. Thank you. That piece specifically was written in this past year of the uprising and the need that still is here for change, for care, for focusing on community. So again, so grateful for the space that I am in right now. I'm going to try to check how much time I have. I know that I was late coming onto the stream, so I want to be mindful of the time I have given, but I do have a few more that I think I am ready to read. So, yes, this was my time. I'm going to do one last one that is very short, which is the one I always end on. This poem is dedicated to Mayor Kenney. It's dedicated to Mayor Kenney because I wrote this poem from the voices of immigrants who were meeting with him in a closed-door meeting, expressing their distress and trauma and concern. I finished this poem after the year of this uprising, so this will be my last on the stream. It is called Rise. It is dedicated not just to Mayor Kenney, because I hope he hears it, but it is dedicated to the countless organizers who come together to make this city, Philadelphia at least, better. And super dedicated to Juntos, which is the meeting that I was at where this poem was written, to Real Justice and the MOVE organization, who has been working so hard all the time, and they are always right. So I hope you listen to those voices. This is called Rise. Content warning. This includes firsthand accounts of police violence. So do what you need to take care of yourself. Officers arrive dressed in black with no identification. We don't ask. We've learned. Our families inherited a gag order. We've learned a citizen of 20 years becomes illegal in a half-second judgment. We've learned he'll reach for his passport, passports like wallets, wallets like guns in a brown man's hands. We've learned even the act of proving our existence is a threat. And Abuela tells me we use the word criminal wrong. She's learned because her sons and her granddaughters have been marketed and packaged as such. We've learned people disappear consumed by the darkness of tinted car windows. We've learned immigration deals echo the chains of the slave state. We've learned to leave home is to prepare for war because we've learned of the valley separating us from them. We've learned innocent until proven guilty is a lie under the oath of our history. You have to be qualified to have immunity, and we have learned the names they built. They stack up. They stand around my bed. They tell me it is up to the present to put the past to rest. In the land of the free, home of the brave Americans who live under the fist, victims who are tired of being charged to remember the dates and times of our assaults and the badge numbers of our abusers. Whole neighborhoods evaporate, hoarse with waiting. We've learned how easily injustice gets lost in the paperwork. Our people bleed out in the street. The state simply closes its eyes. Now I have learned why justice is always blindfold, and still we've learned to grow glorious between the cracks of these institutions. But this life of fighting for sunlight will no longer soothe what is being taken in defiance of being uprooted. We must rise. That is the last thing I have to offer folks here today. Thank you so much for this time. I'm going to drop the donation link underneath this live video. So please, if you have a little bit, even a coffee, please donate to this amazing organization. And thank you, Aaron Incoherent, for bringing me on today. That's all I got for y'all. Goodbye. Enjoy the rest of the artists. And now I need to figure out how to end this live stream. I hope it's as simple as closing the window. Goodbye, y'all.